It is time for another professional match of StarCraft 2. What I got for you today is a Protoss versus Terran played in the new patch. As you may be aware, a couple of days ago a new patch went live for StarCraft 2 and really, it changed up the entire multiplayer version of the game. The cool thing is that like all of the strategies that we've been practicing for a very long time are all of a sudden, well, not completely gone, but at the very least will have to be changed up according to what the meta game will be like, in particular a couple of months from now. Usually what we are currently seeing whenever a big patch hits right now at this point in time, you know, like a week or so, maybe even, it's actually been less than a week really, you know, a couple of days or so after a patch, people are just trying to figure out weird strategies that can work out. Now, who do we have today? First and foremost, the Protoss player right here in the top left corner of Echo LE is going to be none other than Creator, and his opponent is spawning as the red Terran player. His ID is going to be Ryung. Now, both of these players are extremely high level. They're very, very good at StarCraft 2. They do play this game professionally, and they are both Koreans. Usually, they are the ones that really lead the charge when it comes to established gameplay, and usually they are the ones that are grinding a lot of the games. They're grinding game after game after game, and they will figure out what's very good, but more importantly, they've got extremely powerful mechanics. They are very good at producing stuff, but usually, whenever, you know, new patches hit and the strategies will change up, they are also the ones that are going to be struggling a little bit more often, and usually, at the very least in my experiences so far, the Koreans seem to be the ones that are, you know, sticking with the old style for a little bit longer. Now, I have not seen this game just yet. This was indeed played as part of a tournament that Wardy casted as well. He was nice enough to send me the replay saying that this match is absolutely awesome. I have not yet seen it myself, so we're gonna have to figure it out together. But in my experiences so far, it seems like mostly the Korean players are gonna usually stick around with the old school strategies a little bit more often. Now, we got Creator. Creator is gonna be playing as the Protoss here. Protoss, in general, did not get changed up as much as the Terran and the Zerg pieces have. Like, they got a couple of buffs in particular to the Stargate play in the later stages of it, but this is a Protoss versus Terran, and Protoss versus Terran usually doesn't really go to any kind of Starport play, or Stargate play rather, all too often, just because it's very expensive to afford, and there are so many different kinds of strategies that the Terran player can go for. Now, we do see Creator hiding a probe right here in the top right corner. Not entirely sure what he is going to be planning with that. We did see the early gas geyser once again go down for Ryung. It looks like that factory is indeed going to go up, as well as the second refinery already taken at this point in the game. Definitely very, very early on. And here we do see Creator indeed opening up with a Adept right here as well. Adepts did receive a slight nerf, giving them less vision radius, so they're going to be less powerful when it comes to scouting. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Creator is just going to let this dude hang out right here, at the very least at home, and not really scout with it all too much. Just use it to ward away the Reaper for now. The robotics facility is coming out, and we do see the follow-up with a Stalker as well. That Stalker will be able to waddle across the map a little bit faster, because he's very, you know, he's just simply a very fast unit, and he can scout a little bit easier because of that. Just has a hard time picking up ramps, and we do indeed see the Twilight Council as well. Now, did that... Oh, I was gonna say, I'm not entirely sure. I thought for a second Creator already made something right there in the top right corner. Looks like Ryung did not quite spot the probe though, because otherwise he most definitely would have killed it. But so far, we're seeing a relatively standard play. Widow Mines are indeed in the production tab right now. That means that Ryung is more than likely planning on doing a little bit of drop shenanigans in just a little bit. He's got these 6 Marines, as well as the Widow Mine, and he most definitely can move out across the map with that, and try and do a little bit of pressure to his opponent, and I wouldn't be surprised if he indeed does decide to do exactly that. We also do indeed see that Liberator follow-up, so very, very powerful play here, and he's gonna be going for that third, or the second barracks, as well as the third one. I was gonna say, normally we do see the third and the second one taken roughly around the same time, or an expansion, but it looked like in this case we saw the additional barracks. Now, there are more gateways going down as well in the Protoss main, and it really all comes down to how quick Creator right here can respond to the aggression. How fast will he be able to respond to this play right here in the main? It looks like he's on top of it immediately. He obviously does have that mothership core hanging out right here on top of the Nexus. Will be able to go for the photon overcharge. He doesn't want to go for it all too quickly. Is forced to use it right now, and that Widow Mine does get a nice, you know, connection up. Will be able to pick up a couple of workers. So far, he actually is managing to kill 5, which definitely is reasonable, but it's nothing that the Protoss player can't come back from, and in particular, if he ended up using or losing a couple of these units, he most definitely can come back at the same time. Now, it looks like the real threat right here is the Widow Mine in the natural that also managed to make his way in. He manages to get 2 kills there, does allow him... He actually is not spotted just yet. He's gonna get another hit off. Oh, no. Oh, that's actually really bad. And an additional 3 probes do end up falling there, with the follow-up, also the Liberator going up in the natural. That makes it rather difficult. One Stalker ends up falling, it does end up dying as well. But at the same time, the 3rd base has been taken by Creator, much before his opponent's 3rd base will go down. We see none of that just yet, and Creator is also fully aware of the situation right now. We do see that the double upgrades are gonna go down in the tech labs right now on the barracks. I'm assuming that Widow Mine indeed does get taken care of, and at this point in time, we do have a reasonable amount of income for both of the players. Ryung obviously mining with the mules. Mules obviously help out a significant amount when it comes to that, but it looks like the Protoss has got enough of all of this aggression, and he's gonna start moving across the map. He does have the warp prism with this as well, so he can definitely warp in more units. Question is, how much does he plan on really going for here? Because obviously he does have that 3rd base to fall back on. He doesn't really need to commit all too much if he doesn't want to, but if that bunker is unguarded, he's most definitely gonna be able to do a little bit of work. He's gonna be able to do a nice bit of Blink Stalker Micro. Is he gonna commit this much? Oh man, almost getting that medevac. That would have been a really nice pickup, and definitely something that would have made this worthwhile. But as it is right now, I don't think that really ended up paying, other than the fact that he managed to kill 2 probes. Obviously, what did happen though is that 3rd base of Protoss, or of the Terran player right here, is not quite landed just yet, and he did decide to make it in base instead of, you know, just walking it straight towards the 3rd, which most definitely is standard, but it does allow the Protoss to get its own 3rd base up much faster. At the same time, we do see the robotics bay go down in the natural of the Protoss, as well as the Forge. The Forge obviously gonna serve most of the time for the melee upgrades, and then also the follow-up with the robotics is gonna be very helpful, as he will be able to start producing not just Colossus, but also the big balls of doom that Terran players hate so very much. Although it seems like in recent times a lot of Terran players are indeed in favor of the play with the Colossus instead. Now, nice little bit of pickup micro right here by Creator, harassing for just a little bit, and at the same time, the Observer is also moving over towards the 3rd base once again to spot that it's still not up. He does know that the 3rd command center was taken in the main base. That's a huge tell, and indeed we do see the pickup right now as well from the Terran player. Now, is he gonna use this to try and defend the 3rd? Does not look like it. He's immediately gonna boost out and try and see whatever work he can get done. Creator still having that probe right here in the top right corner. I was wondering if he was gonna go for any kind of proxy there. Turns out that is not going to be the case, and he's just simply using it for scouting purposes. Will he notice, though, that there are going to be this many Terran units? Alright, I was actually assuming it was going to be able to drop into the natural. Instead, he is going to go and drop them off just outside of it, and he is hoping to catch the Protoss player off guard. Now, there's definitely a lot of units here already. Extended thermal lance is being researched right now, as the first Colossus does walk onto the battlefield. He's going to be able to deal a lot of damage here if he gets close enough. Obviously, without the extended thermal lance, very difficult for Colossus to get there, damage him. But I really like the fact that he's going for that super fast upgrade. Extremely powerful. Mothership core still hanging out at home, just in case of issues. And it looks like Creator actually noticing that it's only a small chunk of the Terran's army, and he's gonna start moving out across the map, at least just a little bit. I highly doubt that he wants to go all too far. Obviously, I may be mistaken in that regard, but I highly doubt he wants to go all too far, just because he knows that he's had that 3rd base up significantly longer than his opponent, and therefore, he's gonna be just fine. Now, the Colossus have been spotted, and at the same time, the double starport, or this double Viking production, rather, in that starport is indeed gonna go down. This is very important, because Colossus can deal a lot of damage, but if you get about 8 or so of these guys out, they can definitely be dealt with relatively easily. Looks like Ryung has indeed found a nice little opening. He's gonna start pushing forward, still having those Liberators in the fight as well, but he's gotta be very careful. One solid set of force fields, and then the Colossus beaming down with those extended thermal lance that are just about to finish up. Actually, they're about 10 seconds or so from finishing up. That could definitely spell disaster. He's gonna take a couple of putshots with a few of these Vikings. just see whatever damage he can do, and a nice warp in once again for Creator, just trying to get as many units out as possible. And I highly doubt that Ryung wants to take this fight. Yeah, indeed, he is just gonna back up, at the very least for the time being, knowing that he's in a very risky position if he does not have enough Vikings out just yet. And we do see 4 of them in production right now at any given time, which is a ton. That's gonna really start ramping up that power. You gotta keep in mind, since the recent patch, these units have become significantly more powerful and significantly more well-rounded, as now right now they're actually legitimate ground-based unit as well, in particular once you land them. Fort base has been taken by Creator. He's just simply slowly but surely making his way across this map, just making sure he's got a big economy before really moving out. And really what the Protoss players are looking for at this stage is to add on units such as Archon, to add on units such as the High Templar, and usually we will see those go down very, very shortly. Wouldn't be surprised, and actually I missed it right there on the production tab, but we do indeed see that Templar archives already out across the map. Terran player, however, has spotted that this fort base is gonna go down. Protoss has fallen back for the time being. It looks like he may very well try and move into this army. It kind of depends if he wants to take this fight already. Without Storm, without several sources of splash damage, it can be very, very tricky. High Templar are already warped in, but it looks like he's gonna walk forward to that fort base and personally guard that right now. Very, very passive play by Creator so far. He's really just allowed the Protoss player to try, or the Terran player rather, to try and close the distance instead. He knows exactly, you know, where the opponent is going to be located, and at this point, he just simply is waiting it out. Ghosts have decided to join this battlefield as well. Those are usually going to be the counter, in particular to those storms, using their EMPs to try and lower the energy on the High Templar to the best of their abilities. Fort base, not quite taken yet for the Terran player. We do see it go down right about right now, which is very, very nice. But once again, Ryung playing extremely patient, not really taking any unnecessary risk, and it looks like both players have really started making a significant amount of units. Right at this point in time, how many Vikings is that? That is going to be 16 Vikings, 17 Vikings even. That's an absurd amount, but once again, they now deal bonus damage to mechanical when you land them, which is extremely helpful and will most definitely make these fights significantly easier. One hero Marine actually taken out. Ooh, he's gonna pay for it with his life, but he does manage to take out that observer, making this fight a whole lot more difficult for the Protoss because he has no idea where his opponent is going to be located. One Colossus immediately ends up falling. He's trying to take pulse shots at the second one as well, not quite getting that one in just yet. We do see the EMPs going down as well, and it does lower the shields on all of this Protoss force, at the very least for the time being. Nice little split up right here by Ryung, trying to make sure that he gets that third base at the very least. Try and you know, get a couple of units to connect to it. And if that Colossus gets taken out for free as well, oh, that's a huge loss. Not a whole lot of splash damage left in this Protoss army, and the last Colossus also does end up falling. But does it matter though? This Protoss army is looking extremely scary, and considering there are so few medevacs left over for Ryung, his Terran army is just looking extremely vulnerable. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of healing here. Yes, there are a lot of Vikings, and yes, he does manage to, you know, kill all of the splash damage with relative ease using all of the units, but he just doesn't have enough meat in his army. I mean, he really just has one medevac at this point in the game. He's going to be able to produce 4 at a time, realizing the fact right now that he needs that economy as well, because otherwise he's going to be in a ton of trouble. And I think Creator must feel pretty happy about this scenario. He's even going to go ahead and switch into Disruptor. These Disruptor are going to be able to deal with this Terran army just fine. And notice that the Vikings obviously are not gonna be able to do a whole lot. They can be landed, but obviously, will he land them in time? Will he realize that his opponent is not gonna go for Colossus anymore? That's really what the question is right now. Now, the Terran army will be reinforced here very, very shortly. More and more ghosts going down as well. They do take a little bit longer to produce, but there is quite a lot of Terran production as it is at this point in the game. And as you can see, supply-wise, it is still relatively even. Although I would say Creator is looking in an extremely powerful position, just simply because he's been allowed to build up his army for quite a little while longer. Both players going for those heavy upgrades right here. We do indeed see both players take as many of those as possible, because obviously that is what will carry them towards the later stage of the game. +3/+3 going down right now as well for Terran, but it looks like he's once again on the prowl. He wants to move here. He wants to try his very best and take out this Protoss player. He knows that if he lets the Protoss player mine and really, you know, let that army build up, beautiful storm there, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. And actually quite a lot of units end up falling there. Warp Prism The observer does get taken out once again, but it looks like Creator looks at that army and realizes that his is much bigger. As long as he gets a couple of solid detonations up with either the Disruptor or with, the High Templar Storm, he's gonna be able to easily tear his way through Ryung's army. Question is, Ryung does need to split, right? The question is, will he split well enough? If he manages to split well enough, he's definitely going to be able to mitigate a lot of this damage. But there is so much Protoss right now. Both players are, however, maxed out. Both players having the exact same amount of workers, and both having a near identical amount of army supply as well. Where Ryung just has a slight bigger bank, and obviously those mules are definitely the reason why. Mules are pretty good, although he's definitely started scanning this map a whole lot more often right now. Actually, a couple of SCVs do end up falling. I guess there must have been a slight little bit of harassment. Ryung trying to take out whatever pylons he can, but really where the fight is gonna happen is right here. I wonder if they want to be engaging right now. First Disruptor moving forward, second Disruptor moving as well, getting a couple of those Marauders instead. And looking at this army, I mean, even though Terran is maxed out, this is not looking like a whole lot. More and more of these Liberators joining the fight, though. They are going to be extremely helpful. Disruptor shot once again going down. He's going to stand right underneath all of those Liberators. Liberation zones do take a lot of damage. Storms falling as well, and it looks like Creator is getting the upper hand in this fight for right now. Got to keep in mind, those couple of Marauders are still dealing a little bit of damage. They do disable a huge chunk of this army, but neither player really seeming to want to move forward right now. Creator does decide to move forward now that the Disruptor shots are once again ready to go. Huge Disruptor hits do indeed take out a significant chunk of this Terran army, and it looks like even that Disruptor right there on the landed Vikings, and look how strong these guys are all of a sudden. They are doing a lot of damage, but it looks like they managed to connect quite nicely for right now. Gotta keep in mind, though, there's a ton of Terran production. 7 Marines, 4 Liberators, and 4 Marauders being produced at any given time right now, giving this Terran army a ton of reinforcements. And obviously, if he fights on top of a planetary fortress, that could still give Ryung a very nice engagement. But as it is right now, Creator just simply having a lot more stuff. Planetary immediately ends up falling. He's trying to do whatever damage he can. The Medevacs are out of energy right now as well, and the blink forward does force Ryung out of this game, and Creator ends up picking up the victory. What a beautiful game. I love playing Terran versus Protoss and watching it as well. Not seeing a whole lot of changes as far as the matchup goes right now just yet, at the very least in this particular one. At least not, compared to a couple of weeks ago. Except that I actually really like this, that Ryung went so much more Viking heavy. It's just something that is only viable as of, the recent patch, and it's gonna be exciting to see exactly where that's gonna lead. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't already, do make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload the other videos. And while you're at it, you can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Links are in the description. I want to thank you all very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I'll see you in the next one.